Good day, my dear friends. Here we are again. I am epidemiologist Svetlana Tolsura, a partner of the company Vieda, with my wonderful model Anastasia. Today, Anastasia has agreed to help us record this video, and we will talk with you, and I will show you how to use our cell activator if you are working with your patient. We have already discussed that if a person has issues with blood pressure, it is a contraindication for using the activator, but only if the blood pressure is uncontrolled. If it is controlled, then you can use the activator without any problems. How will you apply it? You will apply it with movements from top to bottom along the meridians. You haven't forgotten, I told you. The principle of the activator's operation with a person is to work along the meridians and then on the problematic area. If it is a problem related to lymphatic congestion, varicose veins, thrombosis in the legs, or even if there are hypertensive issues, we start working with you from the bottom up. I will not turn on the activator today because when it is working, my voice will not be heard. And since the video needs to be short, I will make the movements more concise, but I will tell you how many and how approximately in minutes, or the count you should keep in mind, to work on this area. So we will now start working with you using the top to bottom method. The first thing we do is simply open the seventh chakra, and that is, opening the seventh chakra involves 8 clockwise movements. The movements should be slow. You can either work with continuous movements or with shell-like movements, whichever you prefer. Then you need to work on the front and middle meridian. We start working from the middle of the head, the model's eyes are closed, and move down along the front and middle meridian. Again, there should be 8 passes like this. We count going down but not going up. Again, either continuous strip passes or shell-like passes. After we have worked with the front and middle meridians, we move on to working with the back and middle meridians. So let's proceed to work with the back and middle meridians. We start working from the middle to the top of the head and also along the back and middle meridians. We go up, count. We go down, count the movements. Do not count going up. So 8 times, either with continuous movements or with shell-like movements. And now we will ask our model to lie down. Please, Nastia, lie down. So you can, if you want, continue working while sitting. But of course, it is easier and more effective to work when the model is lying down. If there are lenses, you must inform your client that the lenses need to be removed. If there are eyelash extensions, be careful and do not linger on the eyes for too long. So what do you start working on? You start working on the ear area. The ear area. The ear is a reflex zone, and there are many points here that are connected to our internal organs. We work clockwise, either with a shell motion or with continuous movements. 8 and 8. Then, during the second, third, fourth, and fifth sessions, you can move to working for half a minute and even extend it to a full minute. Working with the eyes, be sure to remove the lenses. And if there are eyelash extensions, be careful as well, because under the heat, both the lashes and the glue can melt. Therefore, it is not recommended. If there are false eyelashes, it might be better to avoid the eyes. But if not, if you can work, then you work by moving it away, bringing it closer, moving it away, bringing it closer. For half a minute, count to 30 for each eye, bringing it closer and then moving it away, bringing it closer and then moving it away. You can also work with a strip. Then you move to the submandibular lymph nodes and direct the lymph where? To the subclavian lymph nodes and the axillary ones. With these kinds of movements, and again I repeat, either with a tapping motion or with these straight movements, you will stimulate the lymph flow from both sides. Then, where do you move next? Move to the axillary lymphatic pattern. Clockwise, moving away, moving closer, moving away, moving closer. Again, either with a shell or with continuous circular movements. Gently and carefully work on both armpit areas, thoroughly covering the area of the armpits. Then move to the central cisterna pecklet. Here we work with you even from the first session for a minute, and then you will add all the other sessions that you will do for 10 minutes. 3 minutes. Again, you can either work with shell-like movements or with circular movements, removing the approach. That is, as you prefer. Once you have worked on the cistern, you move on to working on the arm. That is, you work with the inner side of the hand, as there are many, many meridians passing through here. We have discussed that there are 3 meridians that start on the face, 3 that start on the chest, 3 that start on the arms, and 3 that start on the legs. They have both a beginning and an end. We work on the arm. This involves 8 movements. We make sure to pause on the palm, on the very large reflex zone, and go through each finger. Then we move along the arm. Again, either shell movements or continuous movements. While working on the palm, also work on the outer side of the hand. Similarly, we linger on the outer side of the hand, working on the fingers and circular movements. If there are heart problems, for example, if there is a pacemaker, this is generally a contraindication. If there is bypass surgery, people who have had a heart attack and have bypass surgery, we need to understand that we can only work from the diaphragm down and can work with the palms. That is, with the hands both on the back and on the outer side of the hand, but we do not go over the chest. That is, we only work with the hand there, back. Again, the inner part and the outer side of the hand, one and the other. That is, we do not go there. We do not make circular movements on the chest. Next, we move on to the inguinal lymph nodes, and the same applies. Or continuous movement for 30 counts, counting to 30 in half-minute intervals, or small bites. That is, although I am now demonstrating on one side, we work on both sides because we have 12 classical paired Chinese meridians. Additionally, they have pairs of 8 folic meridians. The only unpaired ones are the anterior, middle, and posterior. Therefore, we work on both sides. And now we will move on to the stomach meridian. It starts under the eye, from the eye and down to the second toe. Again, these are 8 movements. We go up, we count down. We count the movements down. Again, whether it is the shell movement, you ascend faster than you descend. To explain the concept in more detail, in this context, it is important to note that as a result of this phenomenon, you ascend faster than you descend. Or perhaps it is a smooth, continuous, and uninterrupted line. So you notice that my movement is actually much slower than when I move upwards, as you can see. Then we will work on the liver and all the spleen, ensuring everything is thoroughly examined. It starts with the elision at the inner corner of the thumb and the liver from the inside. Since we have a large nose, there is a very large release of negative anions. So by working with the thumb, we work on these 2 meridians. And they go through us, as these are certainly the yin female meridians, the meridians of the dense organs, and they are all internal and end in the armpit. Again, either circular movements with the shell or a continuous line. That is, we work on both legs. After that, you can also make a circular motion with your hand, moving it in a round pattern to complete the action. Now we will ask our model to turn over. We asked our model to turn over, and now we need to work on the longest meridian that runs along the back of our body, the bladder meridian. So, the bladder meridian starts right here, from the beginning of our eyebrow growth. And from From here we move parallel to the back and the middle in this direction, continuing onward. On the leg, on the little finger. This is what we are practicing with you. Meridian, hemochebules, meridian. You can start like this, from the head. It is not necessary to start from the beginning of the eyebrow growth. Again, your movements will either be circular, like a shell, or you will move in a continuous line. This is how you work on the bladder meridian. You can also immediately work on the kidney meridian. That is, the point of the kidney meridian starts right here, from this point. That is, it also runs along the outer surface of the leg, as it is yang, hollow, and tubular. Oh, sorry, there are no kidneys. It goes internally because it is a kola, it is yin. That is, we move the hand only up to here, to the beginning of the glute. Why? Because from here, it already moves from the back surface of the leg to the front and goes along the front part of our body. When we were working on the stomach, we also touched on the kidney. So from here along the inner side, the legs go right up to the wings. We have worked on this with you, and then what do we absolutely need to do next? Work on the soul. It is a huge reflex zone with a very, very large number of points concentrated in it. And this zone naturally is connected to all internal organs. Therefore, here again, we start working first. We already begin working with 1 minute. And it is better to increase to 5 minutes. Again, either work with simple lines, steps, or work with circular motions. This is how we typically work if we are working with a model. Then we move on to problem areas. That is, if it is varicose veins or thrombosis, work with the legs. If it is elbows, hands, or shoulders, then work here. If it is the knees, work with the knees. That is, here I advise you to start working on the problem area from 3 minutes and above. That is, the first 2 to 2 sessions can be 3 minutes on the affected area. And then increase, you can and should definitely increase to 15 absolutely minutes working on the problem area. And here you can already switch from the first cold mode to the second mode. Then move away from it again to the first one and make a combined impact on the problem areas. If there is a problem with the internal organs, whether it is the liver, the kidneys, or the thyroid gland. People ask me about working on the thyroid gland. If you are working on the thyroid gland, you should work on this point, on both sides. This is the projection of the thyroid gland, or it can also be called a trigger zone. So, if you are working on the surface of the sole, the inner and outer palms, and the ears, you are still, no matter how you look at it, working with your internal organs. And this bend of our leg in a way that mirrors our spine. So, this is the head, and this is our spine, and this is the tailbone. Therefore, if there are any problems with the spine, any at all, you can work on this bend of the leg, and in this way, you will be working entirely with the spine or the head. That is the liver, kidneys, pancreas, eyes, thyroid gland. Is it possible to work directly on the organs, for example, the kidneys? The projection of the kidneys is real, here in our case, in these places. Is it possible to work? Yes, it is possible if there is no major problem. You can work on that area for half a minute to a minute. But if there are kidney stones or kidney cysts, it is preferable to work on the projection zones. Just like the liver, pancreas, and thyroid gland, please work on the projection zones. And work on it as a problem area. Start from 3 minutes and increase the duration to 15 minutes, adding a few more minutes each session. I indeed recommend making the first sessions lighter so that the person can truly respond to the work of the activator, because our activator truly works wonders due to the fact that, as you are indeed aware, the activator combines 3 mechanisms of action. Therefore, our activator works very deeply indeed. So, we are done for today. Thank you very much. See you soon.